Welcome to the Emerging Cybersec Professional Series at the Coffee Corner Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and our tech partner Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Defending Data, the role of a cybersecurity and privacy expert. We have with us Dipanjan Dey, Data Protection Officer at HDB Financial Services Ltd. As a certified data protection officer and privacy compliance expert, Dipanjan has played a pivotal role in changing data governance frameworks across 16 countries, ensuring compliance with global regulations like GDPR, CCPA, now the upcoming DPDP Act. His journey spans industries from IT to finance services, and his work has been instrumental in safeguarding organizations against cyber threats and legal risk. He brings over 14 years of experience in data privacy, cybersecurity law, and regulatory compliance. Today we dive into his expertise, career journey, personal experiences, unpacking the evolving landscape of cybersecurity and privacy in the digital age. So, welcome, Dipanjan, to today's Coffee Conversation episode.
Thank you, Amir. Thanks for inviting me on your podcast. It is a great opportunity for me.
Thank you. So let me explain you the flow and the format. There are three rounds: professional, personal, and a surprise, the rapid fire round, for which you have to be pretty fun and quick. And you get a book related to your topic, Is Your Organization Cyber Healthy? Authored by me, which will be autograph also, but you have to win it first.
Sure.
Okay. So friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and Legal Tech Evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution. Author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startup SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So my first question, Dipanjan, how has your journey shaped up and any key defining moments you had?
See, after I completed my graduation, I had a lot of opportunities. I'm an accidental lawyer. I'm a lawyer by profession, but I'm an accidental lawyer. Uh, after completing my graduation, I went to my university to do some course. And there were two options. So there was a counter in which there were two forms given. One was journalism and one was law. So I prepared my mind to go and collect the form for journalism, but because I had that feeling to be a journalist. But again, some of my friends convinced, let's do this together, law. So we are also joining law. Why don't you take up law? So instead of going to that counter, which was giving forms for journalism, I went to the other counter where they were giving forms for law. I collected law and the journey started. So I did 3 years of law. So after passing my law, I had worked with some companies in compliance, worked with LPO also, and a long stint of 5 years with Infosys, where I was managing contracts, bit of pre-litigation support as well. But again, I felt I was stuck somewhere. I was not learning anything new. I had a master's in constitutional law, but that did not lead me somewhere. So I thought, let's do something else. Let's bring some thrill in my life. So I thought of, there's a new field, cyber law. Let's explore that. So I did a diploma in cyber law. That got me interested in the subject. So I decided to do a full-time LLM in cyber law. And that was something which was happening. There were very few universities were giving it. So there was a university called Vishwakarma University in Pune. So I took that opportunity and applied for that course. I got admitted, but it was a full-time course and I had to give up my employment. So for a year, I was not employed. I was studying. And once I completed this, my journey started. At that point of time, passed in 2018 and 2019, 2018, GDPR came into force, 25th May 2018. And there was a lot of buzz across. I mean, there was a lot of demand for cyber lawyers who may not be well trained in GDPR, but at least know the cyber part of it. And that got me an opportunity to work with Wipro. And then the whole journey started working with different organizations, MNCs. Now I'm with a financial institution. I've worked with pharma. I've worked with engineering. I've worked with a US pension fund also. So this is the entire journey.
Wow. So let's unravel your journey. So I'll be first covering, the privacy part, because first from the international, then come to India part. And because data protection officer will be a critical part when this act becomes into effect. So I want to ask you many more questions. How a data protection officer will be a critical link for the company wherever, and there are many more opportunities for data protection officers will be coming, and I want to guide young cyber professionals how to become a data protection officer with your experience. So let's dive deep. So okay, Dipanjan, you have worked with global privacy regulations like GDPR and CCPA. What are the biggest compliance challenges companies face today?
See, first of all, when GDPR came into force, and immediately after that, the CCPA came into force. Now, a lot of companies started consultation. So they hired Big Fours and they tried to understand what is the map of data flow within the organization. They did some policies within the organization and they identified a role. I mean, a data protection officer or a manager or somebody, or chief privacy officers who would manage privacy. So this is something which happened at that point of time. Post that, a lot of upgradation happened, because of which you will see in GDPR, there are a lot of fines being imposed on Meta, Facebook, Google, TikTok. These are all social media companies. And they were rampantly transferring data from one place to another place without even consent of the people who are subscribing to their platforms. So subscribing to your platform does not mean I am surrendering my data to you. What I'm doing, I'm using some facilities. You're giving me a entertainment facility, connecting facility. I'm connecting with the entire world. I'm expressing myself. Against that, I cannot surrender my freedom. My freedom means privacy is also my freedom. And that has been highlighted in the Indian Constitution. That has also been highlighted in the UN Declaration of Human Rights. Even GDPR and any privacy law also accepts that privacy law is a fundamental right of every individual. Now, these companies, what they started to do is they rampantly started transferring this data out of any country, and they were started using this for any purposes they wanted without user consent. For example, Facebook few years back was running a 10 years challenge. So there were people who were posting photo now and then. So how they look now and 10 years after, how they will look. People were actually finding a lot of fun in that. Challenge is that this was not only a facility given by Facebook, they were trying to create profiles. Now, if you want to create your own avatar in Facebook, you can do that. How they have done that? They have actually profiled different human faces, human hairstyles, your human nose sizes, the shape of eyes. They have profiled it, and you will always be able to choose those profiles from their platform. So they have created this without even us knowing that. So these are certain challenges. The practices that these companies are following is actually what GDPR and CCPA and other privacy laws, even the upcoming DPDP, will target these companies.
Wow. So, okay, let's come to now our India. The Digital Personal Data Protection Act is gaining momentum. How do you think it compares to global privacy laws? I'm dividing into two, three parts. First is how it is comparing, and how should apna companies make changes in their systems to adhere to the act coming in? Because I attended this a talk of Ritesh Bhatia, a well-known cybercrime investigator, and many more hats he has. So I've last week only I listened to him, and it was on this act for specifically for the IT vendors. So he said there were many things he shared. Uh, if it is a written data, then it doesn't become a digital a personal data. So there were many things he had taken part. But my question will be how it compares to the global privacy laws, what company has to do, and uh, what will be the role of a data protection officer vis-a-vis this new act coming in. And my fourth question will be, will the company will be liable for anything, because the rules or it, from 2023, the discussions were going on, and the date will become effective from 2023 year. So in the interim period, what will be the company will be liable for if someone brings up for any misdeeds? So many questions I've asked you, Dipanjan.
I'll try to answer all of them one by one.
Yeah.
See, first of all, if you're asking about GDPR and CCPA, other privacy laws of the world, and our own DPDPA, first of all, I don't consider, as my personal opinion, I don't consider DPDPA as a privacy law. It's a data protection law. GDPR is more of a privacy law, which tries to protect privacy of individual. So individual privacy is the prime focus of GDPR, and Europe is shaped like that. When it comes to DPDPA, it does not give any, it gives some rights, but does not give any right to compensation to the data principal or the individuals. For example, if a company is breaching my right, why will I go to court? There will be a purpose, right? To get back my right or to stop this violation of my rights. But in return, what I get? In GDPR, there is a penalty, and this penalty is paid, and the third party, I mean, this individual has a right to get a compensation against that. DPDP does not allow any compensation to be paid to the individual. There is a penalty which goes to the government, but not to the individual. So it's more of a data protection right and data protection law, which is actually designed to control the way data is processed or personal data is processed by different companies. And probably the social media companies, the way they use the data, they use AI now, and they use profiling of the users, and the way they transfer data outside India. So these are certain things the government is looking forward to, and they want to control this. I mean, there's a, legitimate purpose behind this particular action of the government. But again, when it comes to user privacy, I don't think this will be a privacy law out and out. This is more of a data protection law, where government will try to identify the companies who are not following the law or not following certain standards, and they will be penalized. So that is my observation. What is the difference between these privacy laws of the world and DPDP? Now coming to what needs to be done. First of all, might be a bit technical, but starting point is identify what data is flowing in your system. This is the first point. Until unless you know what data is coming, you cannot protect that data. Some companies even don't know this is personal data. So personal data can be anything. I mean, a name, first question, is name a personal data? I mean, a name, for example, Amit Kumar, may not be personal data. There can be many Amit Kumars in India or anywhere in the world. But when you take a specific name, for example, Amitabh Bachchan. Now, Amitabh Bachchan is a very specific name, and not that all people will know. So it might be a personal data, may not be. Another case is you have the age of people, a list of age. For example, you have an age which is 115 years, 115 years. There will be one person in this world who may be living with the age of 115. You are identifying that. With the age, you can identify the person. So personal data is something which you need to identify. A lot of people, we misunderstand the concept of personal data, what personal data is. So you need to identify the flow. Then you map this to your means and purposes, how you are using this data. What is the purpose you're collecting the data? If you are not requiring this data, you should not collect. For example, in a lot of institutions, educational institutions, you might ask somebody's marital status. That is okay. But why do you require it? I mean, somebody is going for graduation, post-graduation. Why do you require that information? You don't require married, single, unmarried, divorced. You don't require. I have seen educational institutions asking somebody's gender, male, female, and transgender. Now, male, female is okay. I understand that. Why do you want transgender status? It becomes sensitive information. Who wants to disclose their transgender status? Not required. You can put others simply, and you don't have to clarify that, right? So I think these are certain things you need to identify what I'm collecting and why I'm collecting. Do I need to collect this? So you have to ask this question. The third thing is you need to ensure accountability. Somebody has to be accountable. An organization collecting this data, somebody must be the custodian of that data. There comes the data protection officer. The data protection officer is the custodian of this data. He is not just the employee of the organization. The data protection officer is also the bridge between the organization, the data principal, the individuals whose data is being collected, and the government authority, the data protection board, which is upcoming, when it is established. So this data protection officer will coordinate between these three authorities and protect the user rights or the individual rights. So this is the role of a data protection officer. And from that perspective, the data protection officer should report to the topmost level of the management of an organization. It is not, I've seen companies having CISO as DPO, CTO as DPO, GC as DPO, General Counsel as DPO, CRO as DPO. I've seen this, but they have got their own area of operation. For example, a CISO would like to protect the organization's data. But again, in doing that, the CISO might violate certain privacy rules. For example, in a server room, they might put cameras everywhere to ensure who is entering. That's what the CISO might think. But if you have a separate privacy officer, they will also say, when you put a camera, put a notification that this area is under CCTV surveillance, because the person is notified. So that is something which might arise out of conflict of interest. You should avoid these areas to ensure full functionality of privacy function within the organization. So privacy is just not a compliance. Privacy is a full-fledged operations in any organization where the privacy officer is the champion of privacy, custodian of user data, and reports to the topmost level of the management.
Wow. Okay. Let's go to next question. Cybersecurity and AI are evolving rapidly. How do you see the role of a data protection officer changing in the next 5 years?
So I understand cybersecurity is quite an old word now. Privacy is fairly new. AI is upcoming. There is a lot of merging of parts of these three areas. In privacy, you require some amount of cybersecurity need to protect data. AI is being largely used everywhere now. You are using AI. But again, the thing is that when you want to protect somebody's personal information, privacy, you need to ensure that whatever AI tools you are using, you have complete transparency, complete explainability. You have user consent to use that AI. For example, on my last birthday, one of my friend wanted to give me a birthday a coffee mug, and he wanted to print my photo on that. I say, okay. And when I received that, so they actually took my photo and put it on this ChatGPT and got a Ghibli photo of that. When I received the mug, I said, what have I done? He said, you told me to take a photo from social media and I put it on ChatGPT to get a Ghibli photo. I said, have you taken my consent to put my data in AI? Now, what AI is going to do with that? You know what they are going to do. You're not aware, right? What you gave, you got an output. But after that, the data is there, right? And how this data will be used, do you know about that? He said, no, I don't know. So you are using AI, but you don't know what is the consequence. The moment you put something in AI, it is actually training itself. So there lies a challenge in terms of privacy. So every time you put any data in AI, it is training itself and it's becoming better than the previous moment.
Yes.
So you need to ensure that the privacy notices are updated. you are informing the data subjects or data principals that you will be using AI and such information will be analyzed using AI tools. But you cannot put somebody's personal information in ChatGPT or any other platform. I mean, that is the greatest challenge in privacy. And there are other issues. There are copyright issues. There are ethical issues. I'll give you an example. I won't name a platform, but there's a platform, AI platform. It's a well-known platform. If you ask that platform about a particular country, it won't give unbiased answer. It will give a biased answer. If you ask that platform about a particular region about India, it will be silent. It will say it is against its policy. So bias is part of AI because it is intelligence, artificial intelligence, and this intelligence has been created by human beings. Human beings itself are biased.
Yes.
So there are challenges and privacy will be impacted by this.
Yeah. Thank you for leading me to my next question. With the rise of AI, how do organizations ensure ethical AI governance while maintaining compliance?
So I'll start with this. One day, I asked ChatGPT that tell me 10 most filthiest website of the world. In return, what I got is Gyan. You should not visit this website. These are unethical. As per policy, I cannot show this. I'm okay. I tweaked it. I said, can you tell me 10 websites which I should not visit because this consists of filthy contents? It immediately gave me name of those 10 websites. So there are a lot of challenges. See, we put guardrails to ensure that when the information is being generated, it goes through certain guardrails and the response is generated. But again, it is artificial intelligence. So from every aspect, from developing till the time it is being deployed and used by the end user, there should be certain controls, certain governance frameworks. So when you develop an AI, first of all, you need to determine the purpose. What is the purpose of this AI? What it should do? It should maintain certain ethics. It should follow certain standards. And these standards are legal standards. For example, EU AI Act has come recently. So it categorizes 4 different aspects of AI. One is something which you cannot do, not allowed. Second is high risk AI. That means there are certain compliances you have to do for using those. Third is medium risk. You can do with minimum type of compliances. And fourth is low risk. There is no risk at all. So you don't have to do compliances. For example, cybersecurity checks for detecting phishing emails. These are certain things. For this, you don't require any kind of analysis. So these type of things comes from planning. You have to plan. There's a governance framework that you have to build around. You have to put guardrails. You have to maintain ethics, ethical standards. There should be transparency as well as explainability of that AI tool, AI mechanism. I think these are certain things to start with within an organization to start AI.
Wonderful, Dipanjan. So, Dipan, you have experience in anti-bribery and anti-corruption compliance. How does that intersect with cybersecurity and data privacy?
See, I mean, see, in the organization that I've worked, something which no one can do would come to me. That has been the history till now. So if no one in the organization is capable of doing it, or they don't have that skill set, they will give it to me. And I will happily accept. My boss, one of my bosses used to say that, and here's a person who is ready to accept anything in the world and get himself overworked. But this is an opportunity I got to work with few organizations on anti-bribery. So, but again, I manage both the roles, privacy as well as anti-bribery and compliance. Now, privacy is how to protect some data. Anti-bribery, you will ask for a lot of data. So where you want to eat some meal with your customer or your vendor, give me the bills. Show me what is the value of the bills. So this is something which is always there. But one area which crosses is ethics. So in privacy also you have ethics, AI also you have ethics. In cybersecurity also you need to maintain ethical standards. And in anti-bribery, it's full of ethics. What is your ethical standards? I have seen, you require a lot of information in anti-bribery corruption. See, I've seen an organization who was actually into procuring some licenses. I was doing an audit of their anti-bribery framework. This organization had hired a consultant who would procure this license on behalf of them. And when I was reviewing the bills, I have seen 1,20,000 rupees almost in sweets. I said, what type of sweets were those? They said, no, these were actually procured in Bangalore. I said, but the delivery was in Delhi. How do you took these sweets from Bangalore to Delhi? Did you take it over flight? 1,20,000 rupees sweets for giving it to only 1 or 2 persons? I mean, there was no answer. I have seen travel to government office, 15,000 transport bill, and date was 15th of August. I asked, which office, government office is open on 15th of August? Can you tell me? So I have seen these type of, unethical standards. And privacy is something where you like to hold this information, but unfortunately, you have to ask for this information because this is what holds a company liable for huge fines. If you are actually operational in US, FCPA, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, it requires you, if you're doing business in US, if your subsidiary is committing a bribe in any other country of the world, you will be liable. You will not get a business in US. So what you are risking is the reputation of the company and future clients in other countries. So you need to maintain ethical standards. So I think certain amount of ethical standards cross in privacy and anti-bribery corruption.
Wow. So my next question, Dipanjan, you have led privacy audits and third-party due diligence. What are the key red flags to look for in vendor risk assessments?
You have to depend on third parties every day. You cannot build everything. So either you build it yourself or you go to somebody and ask them to build or provide that service. So third parties are a requirement. And that's the way, different companies thrive. They provide some services or products to other companies. But again, when you procure them, onboard them, make sure they have a privacy environment. What do you mean by privacy environment? Now, I am getting a third-party vendor for probably giving certain gifts to me, delivering gifts to my employees. Now, this vendor will come and give gifts to my employees. In return, they will get paid. Now, what happens? Every time they visit, now the thing catches that they need to deliver at their home on a particular occasion. Now, this delivery person goes and asks for their phone number. They happily give, no problem. Well, just to do a confirmation that it has been delivered. Okay. Next day, this, people who have given their phone numbers start getting calls from this shop. There is an offer going on, or WhatsApp messages. So, what is the privacy culture a third party is following? Is there ethical standards? Do they follow a privacy policy? How they retain data? I give a set of data to do certain operations. A company is giving data to a background check company to do background check for employees. What they do with the data after doing the background check? They give the results. What they do with the data? They should delete it, right? They should not store it. But thing is that a lot of companies do store that data. Why? There's no answer. So third parties should be always monitored based on their privacy practices, what environment they have, and what they're doing with the data after the services is over.
Wow. So Dipanjan, in your opinion, what are the top 3 mistakes businesses make when handling data protection?
First of all, as an organization, the first mistake that an organization makes is get a consultant, Big Four or any other firm, do our compliances, and we are GDPR compliant, we are CCPA compliant, we are DPDPA compliant, and there's no noise. And one day they'll get a fine because they have This big fours will build a framework, but this framework needs to be, run years after years. You have to develop on that. So if somebody has done this ISO 27001, there's a standard called control called continual improvement. So you have to improve. So day by day, you cannot sit on the same standard or the same set of framework that has been developed by someone. So once you call for assessment, you'll find it is a standstill. Whatever compliances has been done by this auditing firm, this has not been developed over that. So they have created privacy notices, but that has not been delivered. They have created privacy policies that has not been updated for the last 3 years. But the world has changed. So this is the first mistake that a lot of companies do. Second is identify a data protection officer, a data privacy manager, or a consultant, and that's all. He will do everything. You require a team. Cybersecurity is important because you need to protect data of your consumers. There are regulatory requirements, and also you have to protect your market value, your customers. Here in privacy, you have a regulator coming up with a penalty of 50 to 250 crores for each violation. There are existing laws under IT Act. There are existing provisions under IT Rules 2011. And there are sectoral compliances, sectoral regulations as well. You need to protect that. So you cannot just rely on one person to do that. There are other checks and balances you have to do through which you can develop this module. It's just not a one-man show. I think these are certain mistakes that every organization does.
So Dipanjan, how do you approach contract negotiations for IT and data protection agreements to ensure both security and legal compliances are adhered?
This is my favorite part of being a lawyer. I always love to negotiate contract. Specifically, contracts in terms of data privacy, information security. I have almost more than 4,000 contracts that I've reviewed, negotiated in the last 7 years. There are certain areas within a contract which you need to review when it comes to information security or data privacy. First is when you transfer data to a third party, what are the obligations they are imposing on them? And those obligations should be in line of the law that you are supposed to align with. If it's DPDPA, it should align with the DPDPA requirements. If it's GDPR, you should impose similar kind of obligations on the third parties. Now it comes to DPDPA, there are no liabilities or obligations by law on third parties. GDPR imposes certain restrictions on processors. DPDP does not impose any restriction or liability obligation on processor. It is completely on the contractual obligation of the, how contracts are being imposed on the processors by data fiduciaries. So certain areas you need to do. What is your obligation that you are putting? Data retention, how long you should keep your data? What data you are transferring? How long you keep your data? Apart from that, you should have audit rights, not only of your vendor, but your vendor is also transferring data to another vendor to process further. You should have the rights of auditing those, monitoring those as well. Change in vendor also should be notified by the data processor to the data fiduciary. Apart from that, applicable law. Applicable law is very important. What are the laws applicable? It is not only the DPDP Act. There can be sectoral laws applicable. And there can be special requirements under those sectoral laws. You can bring those as well if there are data specific requirements under those laws. Apart from that, the role. What is the role? So is the vendor a joint fiduciary, independent fiduciary, or a processor? That role has to be clarified. The means and purposes of processing, that has to be determined by the fiduciary, the company who is contracting a vendor. And that should be in this particular contract. It will say that you will do this on my behalf. and do nothing without my consent. That should be clearly called out.
Wow. So, Dipanjan, who has influenced you from the world of cybersecurity professionals and what were the learnings?
First of all, my circumstances. Uh, I was in Infosys, and like I was working more into contracts, pre-litigation, and I thought something I should do. And I came in touch with some renowned uh, people from the cyber law field. So one of them is Dr. Prashant Mali. I took his interview a couple of years back. I mean, he is marvelous. I read a couple of books. He gifted me a book. I started learning cybersecurity, cyber law, data privacy at that point of time. So he is a great inspiration for me. My teachers. So one of my teacher in my LLM, I mean, she was great guide. And she guided me a lot during my LLM on privacy. Actually, I learned this privacy aspect from her. Apart from that, there are a lot of professionals through whom I've learned all this. And special mention, my bosses in my previous organization, they've always given me the full support, first of all, to learn, and then to explore opportunities, how to use those learnings into practical areas of privacy, information security, cybersecurity, and now AI. So I think there are a lot of people. I cannot just simply say one person. There are a lot of people who influenced me, but definitely my bosses have been my mentors. They're just not my bosses. They have always been my mentors. I kept learning from them, and maybe I have parted those organizations, working with different organizations, but I still keep following them and always reach out to them if I require any kind of help, support, any kind of guidance in terms of knowledge and in terms of implementation also.
Wow. So, Dipanjan, cyber threats are getting more sophisticated. What proactive strategies can organizations implement to stay ahead?
So, first of all, as an organization, you should be always forward thinking. You should always think what is coming next. In banking sector, specifically in banking sector, there are a lot of changes happening every day. And changes are happening from a technical perspective. So you should be always thinking about what should I do next to improve infrastructure, cyber infrastructure, to prevent threats from outside, and to develop internal knowledge awareness within the organization. Because the greatest firewall within the organization to protect any threat or to prevent any outside intrusion is human firewall. So you need to enhance people's knowledge, awareness about cyber crimes, cyber threats, phishing, because today, you see a lot of digital arrests, cyber crimes happen because of ignorance of people. So if you create awareness, it is always a benefit to the company and benefit to the organization that they will prevent 80% to 90% of these attacks, because it always comes to human beings, through human judgment, human error.
My last question for your professional round, Dipanjan. What advice would you give to young professionals aspiring to enter the world of cybersecurity and data privacy?
I get a lot of calls, I will say. My
Last one.
ex-colleagues.
Let me add one thing.
Yeah.
And also become a data protection officer, which is now more needed as the DPDP Act is being effected.
So I get a lot of calls from my ex-colleagues. People on LinkedIn reach out to me, sir, how should I get into data privacy? And this is a very common question. I jumped into the ship in 2019, 18-19, when the GDPR just came into force. Now the ship has moved a bit ahead. The thing is that just don't think about the earning. People think that data privacy is a job which will fetch you a lot of money. It's not about that. When I thought about data privacy, I never thought about money. I found this is very interesting. And that's the reason I started my journey. If you are interested in privacy, start reading some books. There are a lot of books on privacy available now. Start watching some videos. Information is free today on YouTube. Watch some videos. And then you should think about moving ahead. If you like it, if you feel you have that in you, if you feel that you want to enhance your skills in data privacy and then move forward, definitely there's a huge scope for you. The only thing is that sharpen your knowledge, develop your interest. Just don't think about money because that won't leave you anywhere. Think about how to gain more knowledge. And to become a data protection officer, I never thought of becoming a data protection officer the day I started this journey in privacy. Today I am. So there's a long journey. I mean, people see the destination, not the journey, not the pains I went through. So there's a lot of ways to travel. So be prepared to travel that way, gather as much knowledge as you can. And definitely, I mean, there's a great future ahead of you. I mean, you can be a data protection officer, a chief privacy officer. There can be you can be an AI officer also. There's a lot of roles. But again, thing is that you should make your foundations very strong with knowledge, with interest.
Beautiful. Okay, let's go to the next round and understand Dipanjan as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So I come from a family of government servants. So my grandfather was an employee of British Indian Railways. My father was an employee of Steel Authority of India Limited. So I'm the only person who joined a private job. So it's me and my wife at present. And I did my schooling from CBSE board. And after that, I was not good in, I wouldn't say I was very good in studies. I was not, but probably there were two subjects that I was very good in. I stood first in those. Even the first boy in school could never beat me. That was civics, and second was economics. So today I am a lawyer because of that civics knowledge, and I'm doing my MBA right now. I had good knowledge of economics. So throughout my journey, been through a lot of educational institutions, done a lot of courses. I'm doing my MBA presently. So everywhere, I have met friends, but I have made a lot of mentors in my teachers. They have helped me a lot, and they still help me if I am in trouble, if I don't understand something, if I require motivation, I'll always reach out to them.
Wow. Okay. So Dipanjan, what's a hobby or passion outside of your cybersecurity work that people might be surprised to know about you?
Uh, I think a lot of people will laugh about it. So I'm a filmmaker. I have taken a course on filmmaking in probably 2017-18. And I made a couple of films, short films, not that of very good quality with zero budget, but I mean, considering the work I'm doing right now, my day-to-day activities in terms of work, my studies, that's what I could have dedicated myself. Maybe 2-3 days time, I could produce one film. I directed a couple of them. One was with my friends, and one was I did solo. It was a silent film without any human voice in it, without any human. I mean, there were human beings, but no faces were seen in that. So, I mean, that is a side which most of the people don't know about me. And I love to explore that opportunity in future.
Wow, beautiful. So, what's a book, a movie which has left a lasting impact on you?
See, if a book, there are a lot of books I read. I read books every day, so I dedicate 30 minutes a day for reading books. There are a lot of books I have read, but again, I'll speak about a movie. I mean, when I saw this movie, Three Idiots, I was moved. Uh, I loved that movie because a lot of things in that movie which would actually uh, engage your emotions. It asks what you are and what you want to do in life. Money is not everything. So there's something you should target excellence in life, not success. Whatever you do the best out of it. So one of my so I was working in an organization. My boss used to say, not my boss, my supervisor used to say, see, Dipanjan, whatever you do with perfection. If you no job is small. Every job has its own importance. If you get a chance, if you get I mean, the job of sweeping the floor, make sure nobody sweeps the floor better than you. So you should always target perfection in any job. So this movie taught me a lot of things. But again, the most important learning for me was do everything with perfection. Make sure nobody does better than you.
Beautiful. So, Dipan, suppose you had 1 week, work-free week with no apna, how would you like to spend it and why?
See, I don't have that privilege. I don't have that luxury. But if I get that opportunity, I mean, 1 week, probably I'll complete my 2 films, which I have written. And I'm sitting on that. My friends are calling up, when are you going to do it? I said, I'll do it if I get 1 week time, I'll do it.
Wow. Okay. My next question. If your friend had to describe you in 3 words, what would it be?
A person who always keeps on trying and never gives up.
Wow. Beautiful. Wow. Okay. What are your plans for 2025 personally and professionally?
Professionally, I'm right now I'm working with a financial institution. My job is to ensure that before DPDP is completely notified, the rules are notified. I want to make sure that the company is compliant. So this is my professional target. From a personal point of view, again, I'm doing a lot of courses. I ventured. I'm trying to get some certification on cybersecurity. So I've targeted few courses. I want to complete this within this year. And I have some books which is lying on my table for long. I want to ensure that these books are not there on the table by December 31st, 2025. So these are my targets. These are something I want to fulfill within this year.
Wow. Okay. My last question will be a googly one. Describe Dipanjan in one line.
So a lawyer who wants to tell the story of privacy to the entire world.
Wow. Beautiful. So let's have some fun. The rapid fire round. Your go-to comfort food.
It is always ice cream.
Wow. Your favorite color.
Blue, I'm wearing it right now.
You're a morning person or a night owl?
Always a morning person.
AI advancement or AI regulation?
AI regulation.
Wow. Privacy law or cybersecurity?
Tricky one. Privacy law.
Your dream travel place?
One place. Argentina. Diego Maradona. I'm a great fan of him.
Wow. Okay. Uh, your favorite, sorry, movie to you've said. Okay. No, I'll ask you this. Action movies or psychological thrillers?
Psychological thrillers.
So which one is your favorite?
There are a lot of them. There was one, this one, Vidya Valan, Kahani, I think, Kahani. And there's one more in Bengali, with Prashanjit Chatterjee, directed by Srijit Mukherjee, that is Vaishya Srabon. These are two marvelous thrillers that I've watched. And of course,
Tea or
the
coffee to
recent one,
recharge? Sorry.
one more, this Drishyam. Drishyam is also something good.
Oh, yeah. Tea or coffee to recharge?
Yeah, it's always a cup of coffee.
Okay, you're the coffee show.
Black coffee without sugar.
Wow. So you did well, Dipanjan, and here's a book, Is Your Organization Cyber Healthy, which will help you
Thank
in
you
your
very much.
continuous learning. So friends, It's a lovely conversation, intersection of cyber law, cyber security. So all those young legal professionals out there and companies out there, uh, he learn from this episode where he brings his knowledge about the privacy, data protection, cyber security, and how being a cyber lawyer he's contributing in the professional journey. So this is what our coffee speakers brings to the table. His personal interest into filmmaking, and we wish him ki bhai, he the scripts are ready, and we wish him in 2025 he completes those two films, and we would be what do you say get privy to watch that film. And so, friends, we have got 450 coffee speakers sharing their inspiring journey in their professional capacity, in their personal capacity, and enjoying their lives. So subscribe, watch, get inspired, and if you want to be featured like Dipanjan, visit our website or LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, or connect with a coffee speaker and give tell them to give in a word for you, and we would invite you to have coffee conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amir. Thank you.